Hello everybody, it's Doomsday Danny, and I am here to give you some tips for how you can survive the Holocaust. If you follow me, I will give you some tips that might just save you one day.
Welcome everyone to tonight's broadcast. I'm Danny, and this is my Doomsday Show. I will be sharing information with you that I have gathered from reputable sources. Citations and links to those resources that I have used can be found in the description below. Please like and subscribe to this channel for more vital information and free resources that might just save your life. Share this channel with your friends and your loved ones and anyone that you care about, because when disaster strikes, who knows what nugget of information each of us might need at that exact moment to make a life-saving decision. Maybe this program is where you have heard that nugget that you will need, or maybe it will be next week's show. The more information you can accumulate, the better prepared you will be to react when a nuclear attack occurs. So why a nuclear attack? Why focus on that for this show? Well, with the recent war in the Ukraine and Putin threatening to escalate things, it seems like we are right back in the Cold War before the Berlin Wall fell. You see, I'm a Gen Xer. Now, I was growing up at the tail end of the Cold War. I was in high school when the USSR fell, but I'm old enough to remember doing drills in kindergarten and first grade where we would hide under our desks in case of a nuclear bomb detonation. I mean, I even remember being a little bit confused because I didn't know if I was supposed to go under my desk or if I was supposed to line up to go outside because it was a fire drill. So that's how it kind of was. My elementary school was the local designated fallout shelter for the area. It was a large brick building with lots of room. The small local rural population, everyone would have been able to shelter in it. You know, back then folks talked about what their plans would be if the worst happened. There wasn't really what would happen if the Russians attacked us as much as what we would do when they attacked. I really kind of hoped as the years passed after my high school graduation that the threat of nuclear holocaust was a thing of the past. But with our recent developments and all of the threats, it seems like we're right back in Cold War days again. So now I find myself sitting here and thinking about all of these things again. It's like the past is haunting me. So here's the thing, guys. I am not a prepper. I'm not in the government, the military. I'm not an emergency responder. I'm not a medical personnel. I don't have a lot of disposable income. I'm actually a single mom. I'm not ready for a nuclear attack. But what I'm going to do is take what time I do have, and I'm going to carefully allocate my resources to be as prepared as I reasonably can be for a disaster. I'm not a working professional, but I did study a lot of this stuff back in grad school, and I'm very good at research. I ask that all of you please take time to do research of your own if you have the ability and to do that. If you don't know how to do it or you don't have the time, then please send me any questions or ideas for topics that you have, and I will try my best to make a video that answers your questions for you. And I will give you the links to the source information that I find. Your questions will also help me get myself more prepared, because you will all think of things that I may not have thought about yet. My email is survivedoomsdaydisasters@gmail.com. You will find that down in the description as well. So I do have a website, and there's a link on my channel banner in the corner and there's also a link down in the description. If you go to this website, you can sign up for my free newsletter, and you'll also find my affiliate links. Now, all of the products and the programs that I'm including on this page are for services or products that I think can provide some solid value for folks and actually be beneficial and help you. I don't think that every product will be for every family. I'm trying to include things that a wide range of people would find interesting, but I'm trying to pick and choose between all the products out there on the market for ones that are actually affordable and attainable, and that actually give you the most value for your investment. And like I said, please don't buy anything that you don't think will actually help you. But if you do think it will help you, it's something that you want to get for you and your family, then please consider using my link to make your purchase. I do get a small commission from each purchase, and that does help support this work I'm doing in this channel. But please, again, don't purchase anything that won't be beneficial to you. And give you value for you and your family. I'm not doing this to make money as much as I am to just be able to afford to keep doing this. I want to get this information out. I'm not charging anyone for the information, and I want it to get to as many people as possible, so that is my priority with this program. I'm going to be adding new things all the time. In each of my programs, I will highlight a particular product or service, but all of them are going to be on that website if you want to check that out. So for the broadcast today, I'm going to be sharing information with you about how to get started preparing for a nuclear holocaust. I know it sounds incredibly overwhelming, but everything just starts with a first step. So for the first step, I am actually going to be using a book. It's by Dick Couch. This was a book that we used in one of my classes in grad school, in college. It's called the U.S. Armed Forces Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Survival Manual. It's written by Dick Couch. I will have a link that you can use to go purchase this book if you would like to. Yes, it's an affiliate link, but it'll go to Amazon where you can purchase that. So basically, the one main thing that this book starts with is that checklists are vital. I would 100% agree with that statement. The easiest way to get prepared is to start checklists. They serve a lot of good purposes. They help you get your thoughts organized and see on paper what you need to do, or on your phone, or wherever you happen to keep your checklists. I am going to actually put some checklists together for you that you can use as a template to modify to create an emergency action plan for you and your family. If you send me an email, which is down below, survivedoomsdaydisasters@gmail.com, I will send you those checklists for free. If you would like them, I'm happy to share them. It's what I'm using. There's no obligation. I'm not charging for them. Just shoot me an email and I will get those to you. Or if you want to sign up for my mailing list from my website or from the link down below, you can do that, and I'll also send you those checklists. So basically, the author, Mr. Couch, he says that when disaster strikes, there's absolutely no time to prepare or to find out what to do. You must have a plan, you must have rehearsed that plan, and you must have acquired any equipment and material you will need in a disaster before it happens. So I don't disagree with that statement, but I would say that this is a pretty common prepper mentality. Here's the thing, the sad reality of my situation is that I don't have the time to run practice drills, and I don't have the money to build a perfect fallout shelter, or even to stockpile a ton of supplies. So what do? You know, rehearsing a plan is not always practical. And what are the chances that when an emergency happens, it's going to be exactly as you planned it? This show is not going to be about an ideal. It's not going to be unrealistic. It's going to be about what you can do today, right now. If you see a blinding flash of light outside, what do you do? That's it. Preparation starts with education. This is the first step. But you need to start somewhere, right? This book gets more serious with the next line. There's a name for people who fail to do these things. They're called victims or fatalities. Don't be one of them. So that's important too. This is serious. This is serious stuff. But you have to start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere. So don't wait until everything's perfect to start. Do what you can now. Watch this program, maybe take a note, maybe download my free checklist, right? Send me an email, you'll get that free checklist of things that you can do to prepare and start customizing your own family list. So yeah, start getting prepared, definitely, but don't panic, and you got to start somewhere. Every step you do makes you more prepared than you were the last step. So all progress is good progress. Don't be afraid to get started. Don't be afraid. Get started. So checklists are important. They can help you keep track of the things that you need to do. They can help you keep track of things to collect. You can record the tasks that you've already completed so you can see, hey, I've already done this. That can help keep you motivated. That can help you stay on track for planning. It can help you understand and prioritize your tasks. What's most important today? What's most important tomorrow? It can help you set goals and timelines. Because let's be honest, most of us don't have time to sit around all day prepping. This is probably something that you're going to look at once or twice a week, maybe. So having these checklists is great because when you're doing 20 other things, if you have a checklist, excuse me, you will know where you are in your planning process for your prepping. So therefore, you can get right back in line and you don't lose a lot of time between when you have time to focus on it. So basically, what kind of things do you need to consider if you're going to come up with a family emergency plan? Now, there's all kinds of family emergency plans. Some of these tips are basic for any family plan, but in this program, I'm not going to focus on just normal family emergencies. This show is going to be focused on specifically a nuclear attack. So, a family emergency plan. So the first thing that you should be considering is communication. Basically, if an attack were to occur, your cell phones and the internet is almost certain to be disrupted, perhaps for a long time, maybe even permanently. If there's an EM pulse, basically what that does is that would destroy all the electronic components within the blast radius. So that'll take out your computers, your cell phones, the computer components in your car. Basically, all electronics just cease working. They're dead. Landline phones might be able to work, but they could be down too. I mean, the lines can always get broken, right? You may be able to get radio and satellite TV, but probably not, especially if your radio and TVs get fried. Well, you know, that's not going to happen. So you're going to need a battery operated radio. Radio components are more stable than electronic components. So, you know, one of those old just battery operated radios are what you need to keep in touch with what's going on in the outside world. A wired telephone, a lot of us don't even have those in our house anymore. And I'm not talking about VoIP. VoIP will be down. So voice over internet protocol, that's not going to work. So cell phone might not work. You need one that, you know, you plug into the wall from the phone company. If you have it, awesome. Make sure that there's a line that runs down to wherever your safe room is. The other thing that you should think about is what kind of supplies you're going to need. So the next program I make will talk more about supplies and what you actually need. But it's something to consider. Keep in mind, you don't really know if you're going to be home with your supplies when an attack occurs. So you need to make different plans for different scenarios, and you need to have your supplies available for each scenario so that it can enhance your chance for survival. So, like, for instance, you should have a go bag or something with you in case you need to run and be on the move. You should have stuff at work in case you need to shelter in place there. You should have things with you in case you're going to be traveling and you could be outside. So these are just things to think about. Like I said, my next episode will go more into details about specific supplies that you should consider. The next thing you need to do is determine your destination if you need to relocate, and plan that in advance. So you should have a plan on where your family is going to reunite after a disaster. You might all be home together, but your kids might be at school, you or your husband might be at work, grandparents might be across town. Like, who knows? Everyone's spread out during the day usually. If it were to happen during the day, you could all be in different locations. So where are you going to meet up after the disaster? If cell phones are out and everything else, how are you going to get in touch with each other? You may not be able to. So basically, everyone should know ahead of time where they're going. Where are you going to end up at the end of the day? So plan in advance what your destination will be. And you should have several different options because some of them might become impossible depending on what events were to happen. For instance, if we're talking about a nuclear blast, if it happens on the north side of town and your children's school is between, your children's school is on the other side of the blast zone, you may not be able to go directly there. Your children may not be able to get directly home. So you need to have a destination that you and your children both know about ahead of time so that you can go regroup in a safe area. So that's kind of what you should be thinking about. The book discusses different things that you can do to help get your family prepared. A lot of these I've done myself over the years. Some of them I'm still working on. The first suggestion is to plan family meetings where you talk about the plans and discuss with your family why you need to make plans. Making your family aware that a plan exists will help them reduce anxiety and stress in the event of an emergency, and it will help them possibly be more focused and know what to do in the event something were to happen. Remember, we're not going to have a lot of time to think about it. It's how we respond initially that will dictate whether we survive or not. So you want them to be aware of it ahead of time so that they can think about how they're going to respond. If possible, you want to practice it so it just becomes automatic. You should discuss with each family member basically what their needs are going to be or their concerns, and you want to address them for all your family. For instance, we have a lot of animals at my house. We have 3 dogs, we have 3 cats, and we have 2 rats. So our emergency plan in our house is to go downstairs if anything were to happen, but we also have to take into account we have to relocate all the animals. So we've already divvied up our house into zones, and each member of our house has a zone. So if something were to happen, we all know to grab the animals within our zone and get them downstairs immediately. And we have their crates and everything if we need them, although we're probably just going to let them wander around the house with us like normal. So, you may not have animals, but each of your family members may have things that are very important to them, and you will need to make sure that your plans accommodate all of your family members. You should locate the safe areas in your home, like I have. Mine's downstairs. It is half underground. There's no windows. We can easily tape it off from the outside and things like that. That's another video on how to secure your home. But We have picked out our safe area. You should pick out an area in your home if we're talking about a nuclear disaster. Should be the lowest most point, so a basement is good, underground is best, and you want it in the interior of the building, so you want to put the most distance between you and the outside world as you can, and the lower in the ground you can get, the better. You're blocking yourself from radiation, okay? You should plan for injuries and power outages. So basically the way I'm doing that is I have candles downstairs in the area that we've designated as our safe area, and I have a first aid kit on both floors of the home, and we have one on both sides of the house as well. So no matter where someone was injured, we would have medical supplies available. This is something I haven't done, but I need to do this, is basically find all the main switches for all your utilities and show everyone in the house how to turn them off. That could be vital. Like if there's a gas leak and you know, I'm unconscious or something, the teenagers need to know how to turn those utilities off so the whole house doesn't blow up. That makes a lot of sense. I suggest, you know, that's just practical for any reason. You should have emergency phone numbers. Print them out on paper. Remember, an e-impulse can fry our electronics. You may not be able to get to it if it's on your computer, your laptop, your cell phone, your tablet. So make sure you have a hard copy of emergency numbers and make sure everyone has access to them. Post them in different areas of your home. Make sure everyone has their own printed copy. Explain to your children how and when to call 911. That's good for general emergencies. Keep in mind, if we have a nuclear bomb that goes off, 911 is going to be useless for the most part. If we're inside the zone of effect, no one's responding. Everyone is in the emergency at that point. So it's up to us to take care of each other. The country used to have a really good civil defense program. People were prepared for this, and we're not now. Hence this radio show. I'm just trying to do my part to help however I can. But yeah, children should know how and when to call 911 in general. So get your family members in the habit of turning on the radio for any emergency. This is really, really important now because we used to do that. Like when I was a kid and anything would happen, if the electric went off, we turned on the radio. Kids don't even think about radios nowadays. They turn on their cell phones, their TV, whatever. Like radios aren't even, I don't even think most households have one. So when an emergency happens, just have a battery powered radio around and get your entire family used to turning it on, because our country will still use the radio for emergency broadcasting in the event of a true emergency, and it is likely to be the most stable way for us to receive information in the event of an emergency. Okay. So you should also designate people as emergency contacts in case your family's separated. So, and you can't get in touch with each other, pick one person that's close by to you, like in the same area, as an emergency contact, but also pick someone out of town. If something were to affect your town, maybe your local emergency contact is also being affected by that same event. So having someone further away is always a good idea, so that you have more than one option of who to contact if that person's also out of contact. Get a Boy Scout manual, take a CPR class, and take a basic first aid class. Now, I can help you with the Boy Scout manual. I am going to look that up, and I'm going to link that also on my website and down below, along with this book, this the U.S. Armed Forces Nuclear, Biological, and Chemical Survival Manual, so that you can pick those up if you like. But that's just basic CPR, first aid, Boy Scout. Those are things folks should have around. But that's one of those things that, again, takes time and money. So I understand if that's not number one on your first thing to do list. Just if you can get to it, get to it. You know, the more of us that have that, the more we'll all be able to help each other when the time comes. The next one's collect your family records in a waterproof fire safe. That's important. You don't know if you're going to have to go where it can get wet. You're not going to know if there's going to be fire around. You may not be able to replace the records. You should designate a safe room in your home and place your supplies there or stage them to bring with you. So basically, we already talked about that. Your safe room should not have any windows. There should not, it should be someplace, like I said, that is as deep into the ground as you can get, as close to the center of the building as you can get. There will be nuclear fallout. What you're trying to do is find the place that is furthest away from the roof and where that radiation would be. So that's what you're looking for. You should try to have a radio and telephone in there, if at all possible. And you want to basically get everything you need staged there. So you're going to have a few minutes to get down there and get yourself prepared if an attack were to occur. But the more stuff that you already have staged there, the less you have to gather, so that you can spend more time on the vital stuff like your family members and your pets and things like that. So we will go into more depth in future shows about how to prepare that space. So there you have it, folks. Your first step is pretty simple. Just make a plan. Even a loose plan is better than nothing at all. You can keep refining it, you can keep improving it, but get started with something. Check out my next video and I will explain the things you need to consider when you are putting your supply list together or checking on the supplies that you already have. Program that I decided to offer today is actually called the 5-Minute Survival Blueprint, and this program was made by someone called Damian Brindle. Now, I'm not really familiar with his work, but what I did like about this product is that it shows you tips on simple things that you can do that save you time but get you prepared. And I also like the way it's delivered. So it's a 27-day educational program, so any of us could start this. And basically each day is a different email lesson that he sends you, or reading material that he sends you. And the cost of it is only $27. It's majorly discounted right now. It's normally a $97 program. So I'm going to get it and check it out. Once I do get it, I will let you know if I feel it's worth the money. But for me, $1 a day for 27 days seems reasonable. I think that I can gain something from this, even if it's not going to be exactly everything I need. I think it might be a good start. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm including the link down below in the description, so if you would like to check it out as well, you can catch the link there. Also, it's going to be on my website, and it is called the 5-Minute Survival Blueprint. So let me know how you like it if you do get it. And if folks decide it's a great program, I'll let people know. And if you decide it's not a good program, I'd also like to let people know. So please give me your feedback on that, as well as any of the other products that I recommend that you purchase. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in to the show tonight. And if you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe to my channel. Please share with your friends and loved ones. This is Doomsday Danny from VBR signing off for tonight. Come back. We will be broadcasting until the Holocaust signs us off for good. Rest well, everyone.